Well, we have a game coming up on Sunday that at the beginning of the season we were excited about because it was the Kansas City Chiefs. And then about 4 weeks ago, we thought, oh, man, who cares? It's the Chiefs. They're having a terrible season. Well, the Chiefs seem to have gotten their stuff together. They've won 3 consecutive games. Now, 2 of those teams that they've defeated aren't exactly anything to write home about. And 2 of those games were really close. And the first one was against the Giants, 20-17. Then they followed that up by beating the Green Bay Packers in Kansas City, but without Aaron Rodgers, only 13-7. And then on Sunday Night Football, they went into Las Vegas and they destroyed the Raiders 41-14. The Kansas City Chiefs come into this game as 2.5-point favorites. They've been to the Super Bowl in each of the last 2 seasons, which means they've played the most games of any other team in the NFL, which that's significant. Clarence, they're 6-4. It's easily the game of the week. It looks like Kansas City has their stuff together. I got to tell you, I'm not buying this. I'm not feeling that the Kansas City team that's playing right now is that Kansas City team that played so well the last 2 seasons. I'm not seeing it. Are you?
No, and I'm right there with you. If you watched the game the other night, and yes, they won and beat the Raiders, but Mahomes had 405 passing yards and 5 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns, but wherever he had. But he easily could have thrown 3 picks. I mean, he's still throwing YOLO balls. And for the first 2 or 3 years, he was getting away with it. He's not gotten away with it this year. One big thing about the Chiefs, he's had a lot of turnovers. He has 10 interceptions, and a few more fumbles. There's a lot of turnovers. That's part of their game. And, he's getting ready to face the Cowboys team that right now is feasting on turnovers. The secondary had the best game of the season at 11 deflected passes. They had 3 interceptions. They had a forced fumble. They didn't recover it, but the defense is playing well. There's something's wrong with this offense. This offense is not the same offense that we've seen in past years. You look at his numbers, he has great numbers. He's all of that stuff is well and good, but you watch him, there's no rhythm to the offense. It's just YOLO balls. It's Patrick playing playground football and making a play. And he got away with it in years past. He's not getting away with it now. This Cowboys offense is much more fluid, much more consistent, much more explosive than this Chiefs offense. Even with Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes, you look at what the Cowboys have. They have the better offense and the better defense on the game on Sunday.
Yeah, they do, and it looks like the weather's going to be okay. Now it's Tuesday, so it could obviously change significantly, especially in the Midwest in November. Dallas is 7-2. Kansas City is 6-4. The one thing that Kansas City's had of the last couple of seasons, at least for opposing defenses, is that you had to sell out to stop one guy, and that was going to leave some other guy who was top 2 or 3 at his position, essentially in single coverage. And I'm talking about tight end Travis Kelce, or whatever you want to call him, Tyreek Hill. And both of those guys are having nice seasons again, but they really don't have anybody. They really don't have a running back. Their running backs are 2 guys, Darrell Williams and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Neither one of them are having great seasons. But this offense is basically 3 guys.
And the offensive line is trash.
And the offensive line is really bad. So, Clarence, we've seen teams try to do this before, where you've got all of your money and the whole team is basically just a couple of guys. We're watching the Rams do it right now, although they have obviously a few more weapons than Kansas City does. But, Clarence, when it comes to trying to take away Tyreek Hill or Travis Kelce, just take them away. Let the other guy beat us. What's Dallas do? Because teams are still doing that. Right. And in your mind, what do? Do you take away Kelce or do you take away Hill?
Well, I mean, I think what you do is, and the Cowboys have done a good job on tight ends. Jaron Kearse, big, tall safety, is really coming to his own this year and done a great job covering tight ends. You saw last week Pitts had a couple of passes early. We didn't hear from Pitts the rest of the game.
Right.
And so they've really done a good job of handling tight ends and taking away tight ends. Obviously, most teams have played deep zone against Kansas City and taken away the deep pass. Don't let Tyreek Hill get behind you. You play coverage. You get to the quarterback and make Pat hold on to the ball, which he doesn't want to do. And then he throws up YOLO balls. And so I think that's going to be part of the game plan. The good news for Kansas City is the Cowboys don't have the best pass rushers in Randy Gregory and DeMarcus Lawrence, but they somehow got it done last week. And Michael Parsons is coming back to being that beast he was early in the season. And I think he's going to do more pass rushing this game than he did last week because you don't really have to worry about the Kansas City running game. Look for him to be on that edge and getting after Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, and you talked about Patrick Mahomes. He's thrown 10 interceptions. That's the second highest figure in the league. He's been sacked a lot. And you'll see that with those guys who feel like they can hold on to the ball.
19
Russell
sacks.
Wilson, 19 sacks. That's a lot. And, man, Clarence, I talked to a former NFL player, offensive lineman. He said he made a comparison about Micah Parsons that I thought, no way, you're not going to go there. And I'm not talking about DeMarcus Ware.
I'm talking about LT.
I'm talking about LT. And I know that's crazy. And to go there, not Charles Haley, but LT. Are we crazy to say LT, Micah Parsons? I mean, LT is one of the greatest players in the history of the game. Maybe, and a guy revolutionized that position. But when I see Micah Parsons play, I'm like, holy crap, sometimes that guy looks like 56.
Well, the thing about Michael Parsons is he's kind of a mix between a LT and a Ray Lewis because he's an inside linebacker.
Yep.
You know, he does the LT stuff on the end, but he's also in the middle of the defense, running sideline to sideline and tackling people sideline to sideline, covering backs and tight ends out of the backfield, which LT wasn't asked to do and didn't need to do because he was one of the best pass rushers ever. So, I mean, it's not just the LT part. It's what he does in the middle of the defense to wreck the running game. And he's just he's all over. You saw it in preseason. He wants to make every play.
Yeah.
And it's infectious for the rest of the defense.
Yeah, he's outstanding. Before we come up with our fantasy advice or our predictions, you know, I think I know what you're going to say, but I know we want to sell this as a Super Bowl preview. And when you've got a team like Kansas City that's had, you know, 2 consecutive Super Bowl appearances and a Super Bowl win, and they've got, you know, dynamic players still, obviously, Honey Badger, Chris Jones. Those are guys on defense. Former Dallas Cowboys middle linebacker Anthony Hitchens to go along with. Now, he's not a superstar, but he's a name that we know. And Mahomes, Hill, and Kelsey. I got to tell you, I'm not buying this as a Super Bowl preview. Are you?
No, not necessarily, but it's one of those, you know, we've talked all season about measuring stick games, you know, these check marks for the Cowboys as we see where they are and where they stand and whether they can really make this a special season. This is one of those games. Kansas City's trying to get their mojo back. That Kansas City home crowd is one of the toughest places to play in the league. That stadium is loud. Okay,
it's great atmosphere.
It's a great atmosphere, one of the best tailgating atmospheres in the country, college or pro. And, you know, you got to put in all those, you know, college teams because they have some great tailgating. This is one of the great places and one of the great atmospheres to play. So when you put all that into it's a big game for the Cowboys. It's a big, you know, again, one of those yardstick games for the Cowboys. But this Chiefs team as they're currently playing, they're not the favorite out of the AFC to go to the Super Bowl.
No way. That's got to be Buffalo or
Tennessee and Buffalo
absolutely
are playing much better football. They're going to be the toughest places to play. And Kansas City will have to go to one of those places as it stands right now in the playoffs. But, again, it's a big game because it's Dak Prescott. It is Patrick Mahomes, the Texas boy. You know, you got Whataburger up there. They just opened the Whataburger.
Oh, that's right. They opened the Whataburger up there.
And lines out the door.
Crazy
Whataburger in Kansas City. Okay, they're trying to steal our Texas hamburger. They're trying to take our name for the Texas barbecue. They already beat Texas. Okay, Kansas already beat Texas.
Hey, I didn't want to
beat another Texas team.